Yo, 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 what's good, man? It's your boy. Um, man, NBA Finals 2026, Knicks Spurs. First time since 1999. That's why you're seeing these clips now. First and foremost, congratulations to the Spurs. Congratulations to the Knicks. It's been 12 years since the Spurs hosted a NBA Finals game at home. It's been however many years it's been for the fucking Knicks since they even made the finals. So again, shout out to those guys. Unfortunately, as a Thunder fan, my team didn't make it, but a video will be coming out. A Thunder video will be coming out soon. Regarding like all season moves, all season production or prediction. Sorry. Um, Things like that. Draft predictions, all that good stuff. Player predictions, all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that. And then another video regarding the Miles Garrett trade and the AJ Brown trade and just the overall outlook of what the NFL season could be looking like in the beginning of the season and going forward. So, but without further ado, man, let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying the two-man action with Brunson and Cat is going to be crazy. I don't think it's going to cripple or enable the um, Spurs defense in any regard, like to a degree where they can't play defense. But I think you could break down a lot of coverages within that space, or within that action. That's going to be really really good to see because unlike Shea, as great of an on-ball scorer he is, he still can get really really better as an on-ball scorer. And one of the things he does lack within the playoffs, because he can hit it in the regular season, but in the playoffs he cannot hit that pull up through. That's just not something that he relatively does, well. Brunson does that probably, I won't say at like Curry level, but he's probably one of the five, maybe top six best pull up guards in the league, pull up jump shot guards in the league, especially from three. So with that action and then having Cat also trailing behind him or for the pick and pop or whatever, he's one of the best big men shooters in NBA history. So that's going to be really well to see. I'm excited for Mikal back into the finals. It's his second time in the finals. OG Anunoby, this is his second time in the finals. Josh Hart, it's not his second time, but I'm just excited to see because he's a workhorse on offense and defense, especially on the glass. As a playmaker out of the post. I'm interested to see how they're going to use Cat in this series because a lot of what they did in the first three series was like use him as a playmaker, and I wonder if they're gonna continue doing that. I would hope so, but I wonder in what spots, because like Wemby is big as shit, like long ass wingspan, all of that. So like it would make sense to still have him as a playmaker, so that way you can drag Wemby out, like make him, make him guard Cat on the nail, make him guard him on the block. So yeah, but then like not more so on the block because on the block, Wemby could just take one step and he's already there. He's blocking that shit, like whatever, or contesting whatever. So yeah. As far as that, I think And by the way, I do have the Knicks pulling out the upset tonight. I do, even though they are at home. I think the Spurs are going to come out with a lot of energy. Again, this is the first NBA Finals game that they're hosting since 2014, so that's going to be special. But again, I do have the Knicks coming out on top. Um, Another thing I do want to mention, the coaching battle. Mike Brown's offense versus Mitch Johnson's. Um, I don't want to say tricky philosophy when it comes to defense, but watching as a Thunder fan what he did in that series against Mark Dagnall, it was a constant like up and down battle. Not, and when I mean up and down, it was like one coach one upping the other. So don't take up and down as a like a negative connotation of like, oh, he was up and down as a coach. Like he had good moments, he had bad moments. I mean, like both coaches I feel like had like moments where like they should have did some things, but like that's more so of a nitpick rather than like, oh, he really didn't do this or he really didn't do that. So yeah, but yeah, Mitch Johnson was amazing in that series, man. In my opinion, as an unbiased Thunder fan, I think he outcoached Mark Dagnall when it mattered the most. I think Mark made the better adjustments game to game, but I think in game and just down the stretch, Mitch Johnson was just better. But this ain't about Mark Daigneault or the Thunder. Anyways, but mentioning Mitch Johnson, the Spurs, man. This is again, me being unbiased. I'm excited as fuck for the Spurs. I do have them coming out on top in this series. I do think they'll win the championship. Um, but yeah, man. I don't know where to start. I mean, Dylan Harper. I mean, the run he's been on in the playoffs as a rookie has been insane. What he's done, what he did to my Thunder was was nothing short of amazing. I mean, going up against the defending champions and performing the way he did, I mean, that was just amazing. I'm excited to see what Carter Bryant does in this series. I think he had some real growing pains in the Thunder series, but I think he learned from them. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mitch Johnson does with him in the lineup and with his minutes. Hopefully, Keldon Johnson can finally come alive. I mean, he kind of did in that Game 7. He made the two biggest shots of the playoffs in that fourth quarter. So obviously, you got the sixth man of the year. Hopefully, he comes out and performs. And then with the two heads of the snake, because I don't really think it's one. I think it's two. Stephon Castle and Wemby, bro. Like that duo. I mean, with their defense and how aggressive and tenacious he is on ball and on the perimeter with Stephon Castle, and then having that backline help and that wingspan, that size with Wemby, it's going to be amazing to see how they combat that. The Knicks. But again, with Mike Brown and with Cat and with Carl, I said with Cat and Carl, with Cat and with Jalen and Mikal and OG, this is gonna be amazing, man. I think the biggest thing for the Spurs, I think the biggest thing for them is to not drain themselves out too fast. Like I think and that's obvious coming off of a 7-game series, and then the Knicks swept, so they had like extra, rest. But I think what the Knicks will try to do is trying to wear them out sooner than later to like really, it's kind of like boxing. You kind of like waiting your opponent out. Get his stamina, all the way down, and then boom, that's when you're going for the kill. I think that's what the Knicks' main objective is going to be, because this is a young team that likes to run, that likes to do a lot. So, yeah. And then like both teams are really good or have been really good in transition in the playoffs, so that's going to be exciting too. But with the Spurs, I just think the main thing that they have to do is get their shooters more involved. So that means, when you give Wemby the ball or he's bringing the ball up, I don't want to see him at the top of the key. If he brings the ball up, make him get the ball out of his hands quicker, and then make him set like a down screen, or you could do like a DHO with Stephon Castle. Or y'all remember that one play where he did the give and go against iHeart, and then he bolted to the rim, and then he dunked on Chet. I want to see more stuff like that. Just make the Knicks work on offense, bro. Just make them work constantly. Because although they have been a really good defense within the regular season and the playoffs, at times you can scheme around their good defense and like get some. Because remember, like, although it is the Hawks, like the Hawks ain't really shit. I mean, kudos to the Hawks for making it to the playoffs, but they ain't really shit. But they relatively was up 2-1, and then it was looking pretty bad. So yeah, so just make them work on defense. Also, I mean, both teams. I basically said the same shit for both teams. Like, make them work on defense. But yeah, I like I said, I do have the Spurs coming out in 6. I'll say 6. I was gonna say 7, but I'll say 6. Game 1 is in like an hour or so. So I'm excited for that, man. But like I said, the video is coming out soon. Stay tuned for that. And I'll see y'all after the game, man. As always, it's always a pleasure talking to y'all. I appreciate y'all. And stay tuned. Larry Johnson with Duncan on it. Surrounded by Spurs, goes to the hook and gets the roll. Well, he needed that kind roll, but once again, the degree of